Hi. So, woo. I am currently in the middle of a mess of, well, a lot of things. But the main one that's kind of like bothering me to the point of affecting a lot of my body, just like my physical body being, well, it feels like constantly flooded with either like adrenaline or something else that just makes you shake. Like maybe not my actual body, but I don't know, like I'm just not in a good way. I think I feel really reactive and really sensitive, and I think I've spent a lot of today trying to figure out the direction I need to be going in order to get out of this, because this is like, it's a feeling that I really don't like to sit in. Like, I know that feelings should all be valid and like, heard and listened to, but this doesn't feel like I'm feeling a feeling. This feels like I'm in the middle of like an experience of like heightened state of anxiety almost, just for an extended period of time. And I've realized it's because like as much as I'm resistant to admitting it, like I've kind of allowed myself to be swept up in like a little bit of like a delusional dream, but also digging the hole deeper by not fully stating my boundaries, or just not fully like maintaining them, like stating them but then kind of giving in when they're pressed like a little bit. And you can like hear that and say like, well, they shouldn't be pressed, but the world isn't perfect. Just because you have boundaries doesn't mean everyone's going to respect them, and that is something that I'm learning at the moment. As you can tell by me picking up and like folding a little piece of fabric, I'm on edge. I'm on edge, and I'm not upset with myself for how I've been the past like day or two, because I think I have every right to kind of, just me personally knowing my situation, I think I have every right to be reacting like this, and I'm not angry at my reaction, or I'm not angry at being here. I'm just trying to find a way out, and I am trying to figure out the way to do it in the most like the least rejecting way possible. Like I'm trying to just find the flow of what feels right, because I've got this awful feeling in like my stomach here, and it just feels like a raindrop that just kind of is coming from my heart straight to my sacral, and it's just telling me that this situation that I've slowly kind of found myself winding into is just not good. And there's some shame that's coming in, because of course like my anxiety brain is like flipping through all the scenes that have come prior to this, being like, this was a red flag, this was a red flag, this was a red flag, you were too lenient, like you could have said no here, this is this. And just, there is that part of me that is taking on way too much responsibility of the situation. And there's like, it's so odd because I'm here, and there's a part of me that's just like, well, you've gotten near this far, like if you turn back now, if you start like making decisions now, like you're changing your behavior, you're not being consistent, you're not holding your word, you're not keeping your word, you're not, I don't know, it's finding out the most ridiculous like black and white sentences. Like I'm being very boxed in, feeling very boxed in by like very black and white thinking, when the situation is not black and white to me. And I'm not, this response that's coming so quickly and so like ready to like attack where I'm at right now is in no way responding to me with compassion. It's just like anxiousness and urgency and shame and like the pit of it, like a very needy feeling. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just like, this is just how this feeling is feeling. Like it's very desperate. It's very desperate for resolution and options and yeah, what just feels like very anxiously just driven, like nervous energy. And it's taken me quite a while to be able to just like sit with that and not be in such an engaged state with that feeling. And like finally, I don't know, in the last like hour or two, I've been able just to connect with the part of me that's like, okay, yep, you're feeling this way, completely get it. I get it. Like, obviously the situation is making you feel this way, but there's also a way out. And the way out is in like giving yourself what you need right now. And like what I need is to not be in this like pressure cooker feeling, and I need to release some of this pressure and start tapping into what I really feel like I need at the moment. And going into that process and realizing all of that, I've realized that pretty much this is surrounding like a decision to move. And I've been like toying with the decision for ages, and I've kind of been aware that it's going to start its process and it's going to start folding out of my life pretty soon. But I guess I started to put a bit more intention towards it in the past like week or two, and gosh, I'm always floored by what intention can do, because it's just brought in a lot. It's brought in a couple options that are just making it very clear to me that one of the things that I need to keep in the back of my head is to not always go with the thing that just first comes to you. Like, yeah, I did put intentions out for like specific and certain things, and like I started my searching process and some stuff's coming back to me, and I do have an urge within me to just kind of accept the first thing that's coming, because I'm like, oh, at least I've got something. And it's like this like fear of, it's like this scarcity mindset that's like telling me to latch on to this thing because nothing else is going to come afterwards. And that is not doing me any favors, because it's completely bypassing all of my like standards and wants and desires and like thoughts of like, oh, but this thing isn't quite aligning, and like, oh, this thing I'm not really happy about. And not to mention this entire like feeling of absolute rejection and no that washes over your body every time this decision comes into your head. 1 second, I think she's pooping. Are you pooping on my... Yeah, you are. You're pooping. What? Hi, what are you doing? Whenever I'm not on it, she always poops on my beanbag. It's not yours, it's mine. Anyway. Yeah, I think for a good day, I have definitely been overtaken by like the sensations of my reaction, like the anxiety and the confusion and the panic and the urgency and all of the feelings that have just been accompanying the experience of entering into this whole process, jumping in way further than I think I should have, not really checking in with myself with what I actually want to be doing and what stages I actually want to be at and what decisions I actually want to be making. And I'm trying really hard not to hate myself for like getting swept up in that. And I wanted to say like allowing it, but it just, there are certain kind of things like this that happen where it doesn't always feel like I have like a very clear choice with like kind of my like emotional disarray to certain things happening. Like there's just certain events or experiences or like energies that And it feels like if I'm being like totally honest and like aligning with like how I believe the world around me unfolds and like how I want to interact with it, it's like when I've kind of like tread off path a little bit and just am exploring an option, exploring it with like a certain idea or want or desire or potential future plan. It always feels good in the first bit because it's new things and there's interest and there's curiosity. And then there can be like hesitations or like queries or qualms. And I'm a very curious person. And I think I'm also, like I said before, there's like, especially the situation being of like housing and living situations, there's a bit of a scarcity mindset behind it. And I think just with the way that I am in like getting attached to an idea and a dream and potential, I think I just hold like all of the recipe for jumping into things way too quickly and not fully always checking in with myself and listening to my intuition and being a bit bombarded with feeling rather than like careful consideration and like a broader perspective. Because I was just journaling and I was like, yeah, I am aware that I've had the intention to move, but before I found like some of these options that have been coming up, my intention was kind of pointed towards more like November, December, like Sagittarius season. So I was just like kind of like keeping a lookout of the places that were coming up and potential places and stuff like that. And then I just dove into this one option and it's already kind of just like spiraled out of control. And I've kind of just been like, how the fuck did I get here? And then that's why this huge alarm bell thing is in my body of just like, no, this is wrong. And when I find myself in one of these situations, I tend to have like a very physical, like visceral rather, and like emotional response to it. And I'm trying not to hate myself for that. That was a long explanation. But I'm trying not to get frustrated with myself with that because I think I've always been like this. And I think that's one, like a part of emotional dysregulation, and two, a part of the process of me learning my boundaries and listening to my intuition and understanding that like I can get myself into situations just by not keeping tabs on how I'm feeling about something and not honoring like the little hints of intuition of maybe not, and like not being discerning enough when those qualms and queries come into like my path of like, okay, I can go down this, and I don't want to like discourage my curiosity and my openness to new things, but I also need to like learn and like, well, discern is the right word, when those things of questioning come up to like actually, you know, not like, it's good to be open-minded, but not be so open-minded and just like, I guess, easy to be swept away into something, like to take more time to like discern if this thing is actually going to fit into my life, if it's actually going to meet my standards, work for me, be something that I want to enter into, not just enter into it and then just to like figure it out as I go. Like that usually just gets me to where I am right now, which is being like just frustrated and exhausted and like, yeah, journaling and being like, fuck, this is like my own doing, god damn it. But then also like through the journaling realizing, okay, it's fine, it's hasn't gone so far that I've like signed a lease and I'm bound by legal agreements and everything like that. It's like I'm at a point where I can stop and I can be like, all right, I've caught myself. It was a potentially bad situation, but it's not going to get any worse. And that's been really good. It's restored some like stability to my body, quite literally, and a little bit of trust within myself. It's definitely grounded myself a little bit, which definitely was something that was difficult for me to do today. It's like be grounded, because I've wanted to avoid a lot of that reactionary feeling of panic and feeling disillusioned and confused and out of control and, yeah, quite frankly, just like worried. And yeah, decision making, really interesting. Realizing that I need to really just stick to my standards of like what I want and not just like jump into a situation and like I can't always jump into a situation and just like discover it. Sometimes I do actually need to be like, no, this is what I'm looking for, especially if it's somewhere that I'm living and like something I'm going to have a home base and like be there for an extended period of time. Like I don't just want to like try to make myself fit in somewhere. I want somewhere that fits me. And knowing that and feeling that and knowing that stems from a sense of self-worth and like knowledge of what I need in order to be comfortable and give myself a good life. And yeah, also just assess like the fact that, yeah, I need to do a few more things before I can move, and it actually works out better if I wait till when I originally felt like I would start looking more seriously. So it's never too late to listen to your intuition. Like truly, it's better late than never. Like take it from me right now, even if it feels like you're stopping at like a really fucked up time, that it's going to make more of a problem and it's going to be such a big issue. It's going to be an even bigger issue the longer like you sit with that feeling of, I know I should be doing something, but I'm not because I'm scared. And that sounds really simple, but you can apply it to so many things. Like, am I actually scared of this situation unfolding? No, I'm scared of what my brain is telling me will happen if I stand up for myself and I allow myself to take up space and have boundaries and speak my needs and my wants and say no to people. Because when I did that when I was little, it wasn't always received. And my brain is just programmed to associate those actions and those feelings and motivations behind decisions as not safe and bad. And I'm here to reparent myself and tell myself that it is safe and it's okay, and it'll be better for myself and better for everyone in the long run if I just honor that. And it is also so easy for me to say that, but it takes a lot more gall and strength and love to do that, which I am at least aware of and focused on giving myself. And if you're feeling similarly, I hope you can find that strength in you and that worth and that just like, I don't know, this feeling of courage and this feeling of I can do this and this feeling of, okay, I haven't completely fucked myself. I'm gonna be okay. Oh, yeah. Full moons in a few days. This is most definitely very moon cycle-y of me to be going through 2nd house, 8th house stuff. Aries, Libra stuff. I wish you well. I wish you luck. And I wish you love and I wish you light. Bye.